Woman is suing the town of Pineville nearly 3 years after her daughter was injured from escaping a moving patrol vehicle. This incident happened back in July of 2022 at the Willow Ridge Apartments.
Officers arrested Morgan Johnson after they say they witnessed her assault her boyfriend.
Yeah, but while being transported, officers said Johnson was able to get out of her handcuffs, slide the rear view window down before, get this, jumping out of the vehicle. Now, she had serious injuries, and the incident sparked policing changes in the department.
Apparently, if you want to do the logic, apparently the window lock was left unlocked or accidentally hit unlocked, and she was able to roll her own window down.
All right, a lot to unpack here, so we're not going to do it. We're going to bring in Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes to do it. Khalif, a lot of the topics we're able to figure out some good questions. We can't even figure out where to start, and where does the rights even begin to sue for something where you're the one who jumped out the window?
Yeah, well, first of all, you have to recognize that when you meet a person, you take them with the knowledge that you have. And so they listed this complaint a couple of things, that the officers that arrived at the scene were already there for a mental health disturbance.
Okay.
That they did not request an officer. They had requested a person for some type of mental health condition. They didn't send that person, they sent an officer. But the officers were aware. The boyfriend was telling exactly what was going on, that this person was bipolar, that they were schizophrenic, that they had a history, and had already been to that location before. While talking to the officer, the lady hits the boyfriend, and that's why they arrested her. So in the process of them knowing that this person has this mental health condition, it rises and brings your duty a little bit higher. At some point, if you're dealing with a person that doesn't have this mental health condition, you may not have to have this awareness, but okay, you already have this awareness. You put them in the car, there's no back camera, they list that in there, but then the officer noticed that she's attempting to break out of the handcuffs. They can see him noticing that she's breaking out on the handcuffs, but doesn't do anything, doesn't slow down, doesn't pull over, doesn't stop. Once she gets out of the handcuffs, the officer also, you can see on the video, notice that she's trying to manually pull the window down. Not roll it down like this, not push the button, but actually pull the window down. That process of pulling the window down, pulled it down just enough to jump out, landed on her head. I mean, number of injuries after that, determined that she's not capable to take care of herself by a court later in Maryland. But those are the types of things that happen. And what they're alleging is that it was just a failure of understanding the duty of care when you have a person in your custody.
Wow, the devil is certainly in the details. Like, we didn't even know a lot of those specifics, and it just changes your initial reaction when you hear a case like this, because you go, well, if you had just sat in the back seat, you know, none of this would have happened. But you can't start blaming until you know all the details. So we know that there were some changes in the department afterwards. So does SOP change, especially if there's a mental health call? And will this spread? Will other departments take notice?
You would think so. I mean, typically, I mentioned this a number of times on here, we're reactive in nature with our statutes and our rule policies. I say it like that, talk about the sign for exit signs. We have those exit signs. Why? Because folks were getting burnt up in fires and clubs back in the day. And so they say, we need to put signs so people can get out. Well, now you see exit signs everywhere, ensuring that if a fire occurs, you know exactly how to get out. Well, they didn't just think of that one day randomly. There were multiple fires, and they said, okay, we have to respond. This is something where other, jurisdictions, police departments will attempt to try to have a mental health approach to police care, as opposed to, in this situation, was just arrest and figure it out later. And that's what happened. And when I first read it, I was like, wow, what's going on here? How are you suing? If you jumped out the car, I had your initial reaction. I would have loved to seen the video. Something like that would have been great to have actually saw this happening in real time. But when you read it, they lay out exactly the step by step. And so this would be clear for a trier of fact, and they're asking for a jury to make that determination that they were in the wrong.
Well, so if it does go to a jury, do you think that, I mean, it's hard to tell, but is this sort of open, or a shut case, an open closed case?
I don't think it's open and shut. I mean, but this is one that you probably don't want to take to trial if you're the jurisdiction. This is the one you probably want to settle. I mean, you don't want to go and put this in front of a jury and then you leave it up to them to put a dollar amount on the person that's lost their life. I mean, I know they're not lost their life, but lost their ability to live a normal life. And so those are the things that you don't want to put in the hand of a jury, because now it's an unknown number. Now you're basically writing a blank check. But if I negotiate with you pre-trial, then we can come to a number, and then I can talk to the folks within the county, within the city, within the state, and I can recognize, all right, what number makes us comfortable to make this go away. But at trial, it is unknown, and you don't want to do that, not with these facts. I mean, if they have the video and it looks as bad as it sounds on paper, you put that into a box of 12, it's not going to be good.
Yeah. All the information will come out in the trial versus settling it beforehand. Khalif, again, our Chief Legal Analyst, thank you so much.